that's another thing that needs discussing, is the definition of British, because at the moment it's, well, whoever has a passport. This is the thing with Rudakubana, right? He's as British or USA. No, he's not.
Does he have an accent? Wales? Does he have a Welsh accent like that?
No.
I can't imagine it.
He has a slight northern accent, but it's actually quite well refined.
Oh, really?
He doesn't have the stereotypical sort of gangster accent. He's broadly speaking sort of very neutral English, kind of like mine, but on some of the inflections you can hear the, Liverpudlian lilt there. But yes, there are questions to be asked about why he specifically was coming across this material. The Rwandan influence there is huge. Both his parents, for those who didn't know, claim to be refugees from Rwanda after the Rwandan genocide. There's a question mark over that, particularly around the father, but we can't go into that at the moment because there's actually not a lot to get into other than the fact there's things that don't make sense that need to make sense.
Oh, like what?
Okay, so the father? Yeah, well, both the mother and the father. I spent 4 weeks, 12 hours a day, every single day, looking through British archives, Rwandan archives, Congo archives, Ugandan archives. Those are the neighbouring countries that a lot of refugees fled to. I looked at electoral records. I looked at ancestry sites. I looked at travel logs. I looked at immigration court disputes. I looked at immigration appeals. Everything that I could get my hands on. And their name does not appear anywhere once. There is another person with the last name Rudakubana in this country, lives in mid-Essex. Seems to be unrelated or is perhaps distantly related, but they don't know.
You'd change your name, wouldn't you?
Yeah, well, but even when I start looking at the reports of asylum cases where the people aren't named but described, so I would know roughly what the ages of the mother and the father were at the time that they claimed asylum, which is 2002. Obviously I looked at a window around that as well. But no matter the different descriptions that I looked at, no matter the records that I tried to look in, there is nothing. That is strange. We're a heavily documented set of people, particularly in Europe now. I mainly looked into it because there was allegations that they'd had either an appeal problem or a application problem that Keir Starmer was either directly or loosely involved with.
I see.
I can't find anything corroborating that because I can't find any paperwork on these people.
But they could have been then gotten rid of.
Potentially. I haven't been able to, so there are 6 legal deposits in the UK. I haven't been able to go around every single one of them and be like, okay, let's see if these paper records exist. Somebody could. Somebody could.
We know that does happen. I know a former guest on the show, Andrew Loney, was trying to get Prince Andrew files, which should all be publicly available, and they've been destroyed. Just loads of it destroyed. So
the question would be why they destroyed, because obviously Prince Andrew is a very high-profile person, and damage to the monarchy is damage to the country.
Yeah.
There are rumours, again, I haven't been able to corroborate, that the father was either a minor warlord connected to the regime that is now in Rwanda itself, who claimed asylum. So there were 6 major cases that people know about of war criminals who couldn't be extradited back to Rwanda for trial, but there are also 9 others beneath that, unnamed. Potentially, the timeline fits. One of them could be Axel Rudakubana's father, or he was a diplomat to the UK government under the Tony Blair regime, who was either sort of helping the UK and the UN with regards to having trials in Rwanda that was still fit the Geneva Convention and the human rights laws. And again, that's why people think Starmer was involved. I'm not saying he wasn't, I'm just saying no documents exist, therefore I can't either way. The timeline does marry up in aspects. But yeah, then there's additional questions like he's been self-employed. He's got a business, an accounting business and a bookkeeping business, but he's behind in his own books, which is quite something. And he is in arrears. There's a lot of debt. But then Axel Rudakubana had 2 tablets and a laptop. The house was very messy. There was mold on the windows, like on the blinds. And it's like, okay, you can afford the tablets but you can't replace the blind on the window. Like, what's going on there? So, and the neighbours, it was galling. The reports that first came out from neighbours were sort of selected by the press, by the people in charge of coordinating the narrative on this, that, they were shy, unassuming. They said hi every now and then, but they kept themselves to themselves. Now afterwards, it's like, oh my God, they were monsters. There was always noise.
Which is another reason why this is not as simple as people saying, well, he was born in Wales, so he was Welsh. Because this is somebody who's escaped Rwandan genocide. We don't know the full story, as you've given several potential reasons and who he really is, the father. But this seems like a terrible parenting situation that is not in line with British values. Of course, you will get terrible parents who are simply British as well, which complicates things. But this is what people are concerned about. People coming to this country don't share these values, make a mess of things, and 3 little girls have lost their lives. And another, how many others are probably permanently injured?
Eight injured, and that's excluding any psychological injury, which I imagine all of them will be suffering. And then there were 2 adults, the dance teacher, Leanne Lucas, and Jonathan Hayward, who tried to intervene and save the girls.
Horrific. And were they injured?
Yes. Leanne Lucas had, I think, 6 stab wounds, needed a blood transfusion, and has had sort of repeat issues with her lungs since. I think Hayes got out quite, not too badly scathed.
But not great. And as you say, the psychological issues there. And I think it begs another question about empathy and about what we do as a part of this world society with regards to bringing people in who have been part of war zones and refugees and things like that. And what has to be considered is every time you do something that you think is empathetic and nice on a world scale, you're putting other people at risk, and that's not actually a very empathetic thing to do, although it makes you feel very good. This is the result of it.
But this is all it is. This is middle upper class elites going, well, I feel a nice glow when I let in the refugees into the country. It's all the people on Twitter like, I'll take a refugee into my house. It's like, do it.
Yeah.
Do it. We won't give you, the cuddly mum and kids from Ukraine. We'll give you, Mohammed from Somalia, who, by the way, killed 2 people on his way here. Have a go.
Because Gary Lineker, I think, does say, when people say that, he says, well, I do actually have a car. And his firstly, it's like, well, yeah, well, in which of your houses?
Yeah,
like
no,
in
exactly. You're not living with them.
And secondly, I believe they're Ukrainian. I'm not sure. I might be wrong about that. But again, there is a difference there.
But that's the thing. You said there is a difference there. But in the framework we're being presented with, there is no difference. Someone from India is the same as someone from Ukraine, is the same as someone from Somalia, is the same from someone in America, Ireland, blah, blah, blah. And this simply isn't true. There are plenty of people who were either not born here or have come here several generations before, who I will happily call brother and sister in Britain, because they love this country. They contribute to this country. They will do anything for this country. They will wave a union flag. This is their home.
Yeah. My wife's she's immigrated here and wears England shirts when the football's on and loves this country and watches all the British comedies, and not even me like show, oh, you must watch The Office. Like, she just got them on the TV. She loves all of that. And there are so many immigrants like that. And what's really frustrating is
they're ruining it for
this is not, I don't want to speak for her because I never do, and I don't want to ever get her in trouble with, and she does not share my views, anybody or whatever. But I know other people like her who have come to this country. You're absolutely right. They have an idea of like, this is the Britain I want to join, and it's such a shame because they arrive and they go, oh my